Well, the time has come to start working on this baby. My goal here is get this thing shoveled off and let the sun do some melting on it for a little bit and finish moving some stuff around in the shop, get the trailer yanked out of the shop, and get the bucket truck in the shop. Right now, this old battery, she's junk. It won't hold a charge. So, I'm gonna get her out, get a new one in there. $234 for a freaking little battery. Got the old girl scraped off for the most part, so maybe now the sun will take care of most of the rest of it before I put it inside. Let's see if this $234 battery starts this thing. Nothing's happening. When you spend $234 and you buy a brand new dead battery, I got jumper cables hooked up. There we go, we're gonna get going here in a second. Old gas. We only had it running for a little while the other day. So, I'm gonna get that old gas sucked out of her. Brand new dead battery. Yep, that's pretty sad, jump starting brand new battery. Got her in the door. Just looking stuff over here a little bit. I'm not going to try and look underneath or anything today because this thing is dripping like a thunder shower. Just kind of looking through the engine compartment here and looks at the air filter. That's all good, so I can put that back together. I called Napa and told them, you sold me a junk battery. She was dead. So they're gonna get another one coming and take this one back and switch it out, and they have to do the test stuff on this one. But it's got a 324 manufacturer sticker on it, and this is 2 of 25. So it's been sitting around on the shelf for a while and probably just went dead. But when you spend $234 on a new battery, it shouldn't be dead coming out of the store. Yeah, all back together. That air filter will probably never see the light of day again. I'm not trying to make this truck a daily driver or a work truck or nothing. Just trying to make it so we can get some projects done here and then drive it to camp, use it for projects there and back and forth a few times maybe. That's it. So not getting fancy with anything on it. I took said troublesome battery to Napa a couple days later, and the machine tested it. You know, it's like a 5-second test, and the 5-second test says there's nothing wrong with the battery. Okay, so why does it not start the truck? Why does it just go click, click, click? Oh, it's probably the starter. Okay. Yep, so I've got a slip that their machine printed out. Says it's good, it passed 12.58 volts. It measured 646 cold cranking amps. State of health is 93%. State of charge is 97%. Moment of truth. Let's see if this new tested, nothing wrong with it, battery starts the truck. She started, she's going. So I think what happened, this is my philosophy, is I let the truck run long enough the other day to get enough charge in the battery. And plus the battery sat in the garage for a couple days, nice and warm. And charged it up enough so when I took it to Napa and the thing went on the tester, it says, oh, there's nothing wrong with this. I bet if it went on the tester the day I bought it, it would have said dead battery. Well, let's see if she goes up and down. That noise you're hearing is the PTO. This does not have a pony motor on it, so the hydraulics run off the main engine. out there. I'm gonna let it go for a while, get some charge back in that battery. I can always plug it in here too, but played around with the lower controls. There's also controls up in the bucket because the guy in the bucket needs to be able to move around. But I just wanted to see how the PTO was going to engage, disengage, use the lower controls, raise it up and down, rotate it, see how that was working, feeling. Everything feels nice on the hydraulics. I'm not going to play around in the bucket right now because the thing is on the red line on the gas gauge. And getting up in the bucket, playing around with it is not the time to run out of gas and then find out if the electric override works or not. So we'll get to that part of it later. Made reference to the electric hydraulic override system. Bucket trucks have an electric pump in them. So if your engine dies, you can use an electric pump to pump your hydraulic fluid to get yourself on the ground with. And you hope you never have to do that, but just in case. So this up here on these bucket controls does not have a switch or button or anything to activate the electric pump. There's a couple wires up there, which that's probably it. So I need to investigate that, see if I'll get that resolved. I get the entire manual for the lift. It came with the truck, and in there is a wiring diagram for like everything, plus anything else you want to know about the lift. Every nut, bolt, you name it. So my intention is to put Dave up in the bucket, and if the engine craps out and he gets stuck up there, you know, no big deal. I'll get him on the ground one way or the other. And most of the time, you know, there's going to be both of us around using this thing, and I'll be standing on the ground, he'll be up there. But if for some chance he does something by himself with it and gets stuck, he needs to be able to get down. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. He'd just be stuck up there, and somebody will find him eventually. But if I happen to use the thing by myself and I get stuck up there, we've got a problem. That is an air actuator for your electric override. So I got that figured out. But the problem is the air hose is broke. I opened up the split loom because I thought it was wires up here and I was missing the switch. Nope, it's not. So this one's got 3 air lines in it. And if we look down in there, that was a single one hanging out. So I think that is supposed to connect right there. You can see it's broke off at the bottom. For this system to work, you push on this button up here, and I guess it puts air pressure on that plastic line, which then creates air pressure at the other end. And there's a bulb, which then actuates a relay, and that's where all the electrical takes place, is down in the pedestal of this thing, in the turntable. Okay. So, see if I can fix it. That's what I was afraid of. Take some special fitting. It's a little brass fitting that crimps onto the end of the tube for that to fit in there properly. So I have no way of fixing this. There is another way, not expensive, just take a little bit of time to get it done. And that is run 2 wires up through the boom. Here's the emergency pump. All we really have to do is power that solenoid right there to make that pump turn on. Look familiar right there, don't it? Top of that stub. That would be the air bulb. Here's some split loom. And here are terminated air lines. How about that? So yeah, these are supposed to connect to there, run all the way up to the bucket. Air pressure would push a diaphragm in there, make a connection. If we take notice off the bottom of that actuator, we've got wiring. This one just comes over and goes to ground up here. This one is brownish. And it goes into a wiring harness right here. with all these other ones that are terminated and do nothing. And if you chase that, it goes down through there, right to the center of the turntable. And it is that wiring harness right there, that black one, which comes right down here. And there is our brown wire. And there are all the other terminated ones doing nothing. All right, we're making sense. We're figuring it out. Finding that wiring harness already run through that turntable has already made my life so much easier, because I don't have to do that now. So yeah, I can run a wire down through the boom. I don't even think I'm going to go internal with it. So we're not making this truck to go out and do jobs or anything. It's going to pretty much be on homestead, on camp truck, but you still want to have a way to get down. Even Dave, you know, we should get him back. So probably just would run the wires right down the outside the boom and probably freaking duct tape them on there. Big deal. Run them down around the hinge point right back to where I'm at, and drop them down in to this lower hinge point. You know, leave plenty of slack. Then go right into this wiring harness up here on the top side. That'll get me down through the turntable, and I can bypass all this air rigging. It's great having the book. Now I understand how this thing works. So the air system is going to have to go away because I don't have the means to repair it, and I'm not going to put the money into getting the means to repair it. It ain't worth it. So electrically, it's easy enough to do for our purposes. And the way this system works is it's ground switching. That air bulb, when I showed it to you, you noticed a little yellow lead about that long came off one side of it and went to ground. And then the other one goes down and goes to the emergency pump solenoid. That's a ground switching. So when the air bulb would get pressure and close that circuit, it would close on the ground side, complete the circuit, turn on the pump. So I'm probably going to keep it that way. And my switch up on the bucket, my electrical switch, is going to stay as a ground switch and just become what used to be the air bulb. To air button, that's our button up in the bucket. Here's our bucket. And here's the air bulb that is broke. So this is what we are going to replace. And it shows you right here, ground switch. So there's your bulb, there's your switch. So that's easy enough to remedy. So as long as the rest of this works, which I believe that is the relay on top of the pump, the solenoid, should be one and the same. So as long as all that works right, and the rest of this is okay, that's all I should have to do. If I do that and something's not working, well, I'll have to chase back through this. Let's see what kind of a mess we can get into today. I tried jumping that air bulb with a wire. Nothing happened. The pump should have turned on. So I think there's something going on here in the cab. One of those switches, but you see the guts of the right one hanging down right there. One of those switches controls this system. And that red light should turn on when it's activated. I didn't even get the red light turning on or anything. We got fuses hanging out of the fuse box. This one's not even hooked up to anything. It's just dead ender. So then we've got like a something, lamp socket I guess, hanging there. It just goes up to ground. So I'm gonna cut this junk out of here that's not doing anything. Check these switches over. Well, that explains why I didn't get any pilot light. There ain't one. Before we go getting carried away, running new wires, playing with switches in the cab, anything like that, I'm gonna make sure the pump actually works. Because it really sucked to get all that done and then find out the pump doesn't work. Bypassing everything on the truck, I've got a 12 volt battery right there. It's got 12.6 volts in it, so we should be good. I've tried to get bit down in right there because this pump grounds to the chassis, and I've cleaned up a terminal right there. That terminal comes off the load side of the solenoid and goes to the motor. So that's the side we want to be on. If we go on the other side, nothing would happen because we don't have any way to make that solenoid work right now. So We just want to make sure the motor works. We know the motor works, and we start rewiring stuff, and then something doesn't work, we know we probably have a bad solenoid. All right, so hook up our jumper cables. See if something happens here. That's a good thing. Yep, okay, that's what we wanted. Awesome, I know it works. I got it. So the air bulb wires, I just cut them right off the air bulb, stripped them, got them twisted together, so now I have a good connection. So that switch is bypassed. Been playing around here under the dash with this mess, and here we go. It's still going through the ignition, which that is fine. So we turn on the ignition. Now we turn on the switch. You hear the pump turn on. So when I get finished with this, with the truck running, and you turn on this switch here, the pump will not turn on because the switch up on the bucket will be turned off. So the circuit will be open and it will not turn on unless you turn it on from up in the bucket. So if you're smart, when you get in the bucket, you're gonna snap that switch real quick and make sure you hear that pump to go, and then you can turn it back off. My former dad-in-law died a couple winters ago, and this would have been a project he would have loved to have been in the middle of, literally right in the freaking middle of it. And well, he's gonna be in it. He gave me all kinds of wire he had laying around many years ago. And spools and spools. Some of it's still on metal rolls. So to run the switch, cosmetically it would be nice to get it all interior. But for what we're doing, why fight with it? My wire is a 14 gauge, and the spade connectors I have laying around here, because my box is at camp, of connectors are 10 and 12 gauge connectors, so they're too big. So you crimp them on and you could wiggle them off. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. So a little bit of solder is going to resolve that. We've got a switch. It's not waterproof, unfortunately. I might come up with something. Probably scare it a little bit better there. But if that switch should fail, all you have to do, squeeze them together, get that to make contact to turn on your pump. Bit of a hard solder here. This is 3070 mix. Old stuff I have, I'm trying to get rid of. She's all wired, so in theory, when I hit this switch, the pump should turn on. I got the ignition on, I got the switch in there turned on. Look at that. I wonder if I can pick the bucket up any with it. Well, let's see. We're gonna want upper boom. A1. Of course, the electric pump is not made for swinging around, picking up, and all that. It's made to maybe rotate, get you off something, and get you on the ground. But she's pumping fluid. It turns on right there like it should. That's what we want. Looks like this thing could eat some grease. I have no idea when the last time was it saw any, but it looks like it's been a while. Oh, it's stiff. I don't have the fancy electric battery-powered grease squirter like Dave has. You just plug it in, push the button, and it goes rant, 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 pumps it all in there. If I was smart, I just wouldn't bother greasing this thing till I hooked up with him and use that. But I want to use this thing around the house here some, so be good to get some grease in these freaking pivot points. Got that greased up pretty easy. I've got one more fitting I got to do, and that is in the center of the turntable under the main lift piston. I can't get to it right now because there's only about that much room, so I gotta wait till I back the truck outside again, I can lift the boom up and get right to it. But I'll get to that on a better day. Right now, I gotta go plow. While I've got this project going on, here's the project Dave's got going on. That's the tractor way back a few videos ago in the fall that he was driving up the brush pile with, and it was on fire. Seen it in some other videos too. He's got her torn apart and broken half right now, so changing the rear main oil seal on it. Just got the old nasty oil drained out of this thing. Got a new filter on it. She's pretty black, and it was kind of thick and a little bit goopy. So I have no idea how long it's been in this. Oil change is complete. She'll like that a lot better. If you like what we're throwing out for videos, hit the like, subscribe, all that good jazz. We would appreciate it. And this video is getting up there in some time, so we'll cut it off here. Got a few more things to do to this truck, so we'll probably start another one for you. See ya.